look at this. What you see on the screen is 1 billion 3D points, a whole real place, and it runs in a browser tab without any downloads or expensive graphic card. Just a year ago, that would be impossible. Scene like this will simply froze your computer, not to talk about mobile. But now it works. And the craziest part, guys, this is open sourced. Basically, you can install the library and run 3D.js splats up to 1 billion. You can start building your viewer, your game, anything around it. Actually, some smart guys transferred approaches from game dev to 3D.js, introducing LOD and streams. That's easy to say, but that was very difficult to develop, and now we have stable approach. And thanks to that, even massive, huge scans can run on laptop or phone. But it would not be that excited if you can only view that. That's the thing. We also have a colliders and whole ecosystem starting to come up around it. We not only have the viewer, but we also have a lot of CLI transform tools that help to process splats, like creating collision. So we can walk around these locations like inside the game. And that is significant. It's already widely used by real estate, doing interior scans, houses and stuff. And now it actually approaching the game industry. There are already crazy examples, someone building games using scanned 3D.js locations. And not only technology advanced, the capturing also became easier. We do have a bunch of tools that helps to process scans even from video or phone application, making it really accessible and usable. So let's recap on the recent breakthrough and new open source releases related to 3D.js. So quick recap, what are splats? They're as tiny dots that represent shape, color, and maybe soon they're gonna represent PBR, and they also represent location. So there's like hundreds, thousands, millions of them forming these environments. It's like another way of capturing information. And what we know about them, that they look way more realistic than classic 3D, and that was actually the main problem. And they're also way more static. But still, the biggest issues up to now was that they were extremely heavy. If you want to run, like one location can go crazy, 10, 20, 30 gigabytes or more, and obviously running that at once on any consumer grade PC is a bad idea. So this problem existed for quite a long, and splats also require depth filtering, but tech evolves and we have amazing releases such as a Holo Viewer, which was released just a week ago and already got almost 500 stars. The viewer is under MIT license, so you can use it right away. And if you don't know, we're gonna just mention the Holo. And a Holo, by the way, is developer of 3D scanners that helps to produce splats, and they also run the platform where you can generate splats, including generating splats from images or videos, which is actually amazing. And splats are really cool stuff. Just look at this. This just look insane, right? Imagine that you already can drop it inside the game. Wow. And by the way, things like this you can capture from mobile application and it will be ready in a few minutes. Just how cool is that? Wow. It's actually very easy to install through Nodes. I did some local test, of course. I'm gonna show you how it works. But not only the viewer alone make it really cool, but they also give access to splat transform tools that helps to process 3D.js. And this is the gap that was needed to be bridged. So let's say we do have the viewer that runs all this amazing stuff, but how do we prepare that stuff? So now this is actually not a problem. You can process plenty of formats, including the most recent SPZ, which is the most optimized, and you can also create LODs right here with chunks that will run it as a streamed LOD stuff. And additionally, you can also create the physics collision, which is another important thing that I really was wanting to happen. So actually, why don't we run it and you see it firsthand? So here we go with the examples. And dang, this is insane, really. This is, of course, was captured by a drone, but the details, the quality, and how it's processed is just amazing. Here is one even bigger example, and yeah, I mean, this looks just insane. I mean, I remember I saw this like 4 years ago where 3D.js like first started like to pop in, but this is really insane examples. I can imagine so much of use. Again, like we know, like it is used in real estate, like for some historical sites, but there's also a huge use case for videography, for games and stuff. Actually, here's the funny thing. And if you might think Splats are not catching attention, well, they do. And just recently I saw this post from Danny Bittel, who did scans of berries, and those berries was looking that juicy that he actually got more than 7 million views on X. And by the way, this Splats available under CC4 license, so you can download it and check it yourself, which I actually did. So here's the HoloViewer that I run locally, and here is that berry, and it looks just amazing. Hopefully this berry also brings me millions of views. And here are more examples that I was running locally, and I don't know, just look at this, look at the quality. If the capture was done nicely, like you pretty much like, I don't know, it's like you're jumping into the video and you like go around. The quality of Splats is so much nicer, and the fact that it loads like almost like that with all the stuff, you can actually see like locally it loads extremely fast, and I'm running it on like 120 FPS minimum, which is, I don't know, like I remember my experience like a year ago and it was quite lagging. Now it's so much more fun. Here I go with one more example. You just look at this castle. Wow. I don't know, like, I mean, this is insane technology, guys. Look, you can go around. Wow. It captures like everything. Like, I don't know. It's like, it feels like you go inside a 4K video. Like, oof. And as I mentioned, there's also possibility to run the collision, which again opens so much more opportunities. Look at this demo. So this is basically a scanned environment, like a scanned apartment, and I don't know, it looks crazy. It just looks crazy. Look, you can see everything. Like, I don't know, like this is insane. The quality of the capture is insane, and how it works is insane. And again, you can also use the Splat transform tools to process your scans into streamable LOD chunks. You can optimize them, and it's so much easier right now. Oh, by the way, you can see like how LOD's stream system works. So it allows you to preview and then it uploads on the go, because Splats naturally are extremely heavy, right? So, and it splits in small chunks and connect them all together, so you can see like, wow, this is just great. So the LOD system is not new. It actually stands for a level of details. So it means that some areas that are far away are less detailed in reality, and combined with the stream approach, we basically render only what's inside the frame. That allows to process like very, very big scenes, which is absolutely great. There's also a bunch of parameters for deep control over what's happening on the screen. Again, depends of like the experience you build. If it's for phones, you can control it, like what's the budget. I think it can actually max it out, etc. And can you imagine, thanks to this approach, you can run up to 1 billion Splats files. That's huge. That's really huge. So right now, this is probably the most advanced web viewer. And if you don't know, Unreal Engine actually takes the same path. And I already did a review on my second channel about like what's related exactly to the games. And there is Nanite-like system for rendering Splats. So this is the most right direction. And this library is just 1 week old, and there's already almost 500 stars, which for this niche is quite a lot. So definitely take a look. So let's recap really what are the use cases and new possibilities that we get right now. So obviously real estate interior actually benefits the most from it, because I can see the direct use case. It's like this technology was developed for them. Another thing that's silently happening is that Splats became so optimized that you can actually run it in the game as assets, guys. And to be honest, this is exactly what I'm researching right now to see like what is the best way to put it to the Unreal Engine. And again, there is a free app from Holo that you can scan the object and it looks that stunning. You process it through the tools, make it optimized, and boom, you can already bring it to the Unreal Engine, set the collision and stuff. I'm already working on it. I can update you soon. And that use case, of course, is tightened to bigger spaces that we can add the collision and walk around. So for me, this is probably the most important thing. Again, I was quite impressed by examples I saw, and I definitely want to try something like that. And as mentioned, there was two sides of a problem. First, how to run it. Second, how to capture it. And both of these problems are being solved at the moment we speak. And of course, the viewer itself is also the use case. Since it's open source, you can embed it in any of your website. It's very easy. You basically give your ChatGPT or Claude the link to this library and it will install it and run anything. You can set the viewer to work any way that you want. You can change the viewer controls, the visual look, and embed it to your website, and it works great for historical site, the landmarks, especially if you have these drones to capture this 360 video and process it. This was never that easy. I actually considering myself to get the 360 drone to play around with it because there's so much possibilities around it. And finally, when you put it on your website or elsewhere, you might not worry that it will freeze the user's devices, which happened quite frequently before. So that's it. If you want more information about 3D.js, there is another video on my channel. So I'm super excited about the use case of this technology. Let me know if you do as well, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I see you in the next video.